Whoops. Ooh, sorry. I didn't mean to slam the door, but I'm just so excited to be back in this radio podcast storytelling studio. I feel so good right now. Well, for all of you wonderful girls and boys who like to hear my podcast, you know who I am. And for those of you kids who are listening to the Kid's Guide to Friendship for the first time, well, people just call me Grandpa Giggles, and I'm a storyteller. Oh, I like to tell all different kinds of stories. Animal stories, cooking and baking stories, circus stories, history and fairy tales and sports stories, and, well, all my stories have one thing in common. There's always kids and friends in my stories. Well, today's story is read by Travis. He's a young boy. Oh, he's such a good storyteller. And he's going to read a story I wrote. It's called The Gigantic Birthday Cake. Well, I hope you enjoy it, and I'll be back after you hear the story I wrote.
Outside the elementary school, a blustering wind is blowing with snow faster and faster. Children, with cold pink cheeks, and more than a few with snot leaking from their noses, are laughing, shouting, pushing, shoving, stepping, and leaping out of yellow school buses. Teachers, bundled up in colorful coats, are trying to control the morning chaos on the sidewalk. "No eating snow," shouts the fourth grade teacher, Mrs. Grander. "Hurry inside before your brains freeze," hollers Mr. Harris, the first grade teacher. "No slipping, I'm out of Band-Aids," warns Mrs. Winslig, the school's nurse. Suddenly, everyone freezes in their tracks. Oh, not from the chilling wind or twirling snow, but because they see an 8-year-old Patty coming up the sidewalk. She's pushing a grocery cart. Mrs. Halling, the sixth grade teacher, shouts, "For goodness sake, Patty, why are you pushing a grocery cart to school? And through the snowstorm?" 8-year-old Patty, her bright red lips covered in snowflakes, yells as loud as she can. "I borrowed it from my dad's grocery store. I'm not going to let a ferocious snowstorm stand in my way." "But," Mr. Grandstone, the fifth grade teacher, hollows, "don't tell me you pushed that cart all the way from here to there." Patty points her orange glove towards a van with a large sign painted, "Wonderful and Wander Grocery Store." Sticking her face out the window on the driver's side is Patty's smiling mom. "Have a great day showing them what a great birthday cake baker you are, Patty." Patty isn't able to wave to her mom. She needs both hands to maneuver the wet, freezing, icy grocery cart through the frenzied crowd of kids. A few are throwing snowballs at one another. Up the steps, through the heavy wooden door, and into the elementary school. Within minutes, Patty pushes open the door to the girls' bathroom. The wet wheels of the cart drip all over the white-tiled floor. Standing at the sink, her hands underneath hot water, is fifth grader Dottie. "I need to warm up my voice," Patty says. She begins to sing. "La la 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 la." Dottie smiles. "This hot water is getting the blood in my fingers to unfreeze." Patty turns on the hot water tap at another sink. "Don't you wonder who invented hot water?" Dottie shrugs. "I'm wondering why the principal didn't cancel school today." Patty's mouth and eyes fly open in surprise. "You're my best friend, Dottie. How could you wish that? You know that today is my big day. I'm about to show the entire school my incredible talent as a baker. I stayed up till 10 o'clock last night baking this 5-layer cake for the principal's surprise birthday assembly." "I did my baking last night too, Patty. I made the first apple pie. I had my mom taste it. She said it was delicious. But, well, when I was cleaning up the kitchen, I could hear barfing in the bathroom." Patty offers no reaction to her friend's admission. She is staring at her reflection in the mirror, remembering the mess she made in her parents' kitchen last night. The third grader is an aspiring chef and baker at the elementary school's Yummy in the Tummy Culinary Arts Club. The teacher, whom all the children call Grandma Giggles, though that's not her real name, assigned Patty the task of bringing a birthday cake for the school's principal. Patty, drying her hands on the paper towel, says, "And also, Dottie, I researched the history of birthday cakes. I want to give a fascinating speech at the assembly, one that the principal will never forget. Do you know when and where the first birthday cake was ever made hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years ago?" Dottie is also drying her hands on the rough brown paper towels. "No, I'll think about it after your speech. Right now, I'm thinking about my mom. I hope she's feeling better. I'm pretty sure my mom was puking after she tasted my apple pie. Because I heard my dad say to her, 'Don't expect a goodnight kiss from me.'" Suddenly, the bathroom door flings open. Fourth grader Carmen barges in. She is panting, hardly able to catch her breath. "Oh my gosh, Patty, all the kids and teachers are talking about you. And that grocery cart, are you crazy? What's in those boxes and bags? What is everyone talking about?" Whispering, gossiping, speculating, guessing. I ran so fast to tell you, I just had to let you know. Patty smiles broadly. I love it when everyone talks about me. Someday, I'm going to own my own bakery, and it will be the best bakery in the whole world. Maybe I'll open up a restaurant next to it. I'm thinking I'll call it Patty's Wander and Wonder Famous Bakery and Restaurant. Maybe I'll open it up next to my dad's Wonder and Wander grocery store. That way, I can save money by not renting a truck to deliver all the ingredients. I plan to be like my mom, a fantastic businesswoman. Carmen shrugs. Well, as long as I'm here, I better do my business. I hope I can pee. It's so cold out there, I'm afraid my kidneys have turned to ice. Upon opening the stall door, Carmen screams. There's a cat sitting on the toilet. Dottie runs to see. Patty bursts out laughing. I snuck the cat into school underneath my winter coat. It's part of my presentation at the principal's birthday assembly. Dottie and Carmen both look confused. But I've been to your house many times, Patty. You don't own a cat, Dottie says. I borrowed it. It's the principal's cat. He doesn't know I have it. I saw his wife in my dad's grocery store last night. She let me take it home. Don't say anything. I intend to surprise the principal with my fascinating speech, my stupendously delicious birthday cake, and a surprise appearance by his cat. Her name is Tofu. Carmen stares at the orange and white fur cat. Patty, I really have to go to the bathroom. Is this a boy cat or a girl cat? In the meantime, walking through the congested school corridor, first grader Sammy, second grader Matt, and sixth grader Freddie are trying to have a conversation despite the loud chatter of students surrounding them. For my next project, I'm doing something extraordinary. Taking a step back into history and preparing a meal that kids ate when President Lincoln was president of the United States all the way back in the 1800s. Freddie says with confidence. Well, Matt says, for my next project, I'm going to do something really special. I'm going to make popcorn and smother it with peanut butter and jelly. I bet no one in the club has ever eaten that before. Sammy says to the older boys, I think my toenails are frozen. Can toenails freeze? Can they fall off and turn to ice? The boys casually walk into the Yummy in the Tummy Club classroom. Good morning, gentlemen, Grandma Giggles says. As always, she has the brightest smile on her wrinkled face. Good morning, the boys reply in unison. Behind them, Dottie enters and immediately says, Grandma Giggles, I brought you a slice of the apple pie I made last night. I hope you like it, but if you puke, it's okay. I won't be offended. The teacher giggles. Dashing into the room, Carmen is nearly out of breath. Grandma Giggles, Patty brought a grocery cart to school, and she snuck a cat into school too. But don't tell anyone. It's a surprise. The cat, that is, not the grocery cart. Everyone is talking about that. Thank you for telling me, Carmen. I think someday you might very well grow up to become a television reporter. Pushing a grocery cart, Patty enters the classroom. I'm here, she exclaims. Grandma Giggles greets an exuberantly happy girl. I'm so excited to see and taste the birthday cake you made, Patty. I'm so glad the principal didn't cancel school this morning. Matt, Freddie, and Salmon, and Carmen boo. Dottie meekly says, I'm Patty's best friend, and this is her special day, so I have to pretend that I'm happy school wasn't canceled. The teacher begins helping Patty to unload the grocery cart. My, this box is so heavy. Be careful helping me lift the box and putting it down on the table. It's very heavy because there's a very large birthday cake inside. When Patty and her teacher open the box and lift the large cake out, the other students ooh and ah at how tall and beautiful it is. Well, the astonished teacher says, you outdid yourself, Patty. This birthday cake is stupendously gorgeous. Yes, I worked hard on it, the proud third grader baker replies. I chose blue icing because the principal's always wearing a blue suit, and I asked his wife when I saw her in my dad's grocery store what was the principal's favorite fruit. That's why I put apples, pears, peaches, apricots, plums, and green grapes all over the cake instead of flowers. She said the principal likes fruit more than he likes flowers. Sammy raises his arm. Grandma Giggles, what if it doesn't stop snowing? Are we going to be stuck in here? Before the teacher can respond, Matt yells, look out the window. It's snowing so hard we might get stuck in here for like 5 years, maybe even 10. Carmen shakes her head. Matt, you just said that to scare little Sammy. The teacher knows she has to calm her students. We won't get stuck in school. I suspect that right after the surprise birthday assembly, the principal is going to send everyone home early. While the students applaud, even Dottie, Patty shouts, but not before I make my speech about the history of birthday cakes and everyone gets to taste the cake I made. The bell rings loudly. Over the intercom, the principal's voice is loud and clear. Good morning, students and teachers. I'm thankful everyone arrived to school safely. Patty holds her breath, mumbling to herself, please don't send us home early before the birthday assembly in the auditorium, please. The principal continues his announcement. I understand that the students in the Yummy in the Tummy Culinary Arts Club have cooked up a special surprise for me. Cooked up? Get it? I should have been a comedian. Sammy whispers to Matt. I'm always afraid I might get into trouble if I don't laugh at the principal's jokes. He can't see us, Matt whispers in return. The principal continues. So, when I ring the bell, I want everyone to walk very calmly through the hallways and to the auditorium. And please don't knock over Patty's grocery cart. I heard through the grapevine that there's a special gift in it for someone's birthday. Patty grimaces, throwing an angry look towards Carmen. Suddenly, Matt raises his hand and asks, Grandma Giggles, are you going to make us giggle today? Carmen snickers. You ask her that every morning. It's really irritating. Sammy raises his hand. Grandma Giggles, when's it my turn to demonstrate my cooking? Can I bring my baby brother to school? I'm going to show the class how to make baby food. The teacher smiles. I seriously doubt your mother will allow you to bring the baby to school. Sammy shakes his head. Well, maybe I could bring one of his dirty diapers. The kids squint their eyes, hold their noses, and moan. Patty speaks up. Excuse me, it's time to go to the assembly. It's time for my presentation. And afterwards, please help keep all the students and teachers in an orderly line when they're asking for my autograph. Sammy, Dottie, Freddie, Matt, Carmen rush out of the classroom and into the congested hallway. Students are pushing and shoving and running down the corridor. Teachers are trying to direct the frenzied traffic. Please don't trip and fall, the nurse shouts. I'm out of Band-Aids. Patty is pushing her cart through the crowd. Out of my way, let me through. Make way for the birthday cake. Whoever steps on my toes isn't going to get a slice, and you believe me, it's totally delicious. From inside the grocery cart, the cat raises its head and looks bewildered. Inside the auditorium, teachers are directing the students to take their seats. Patty is standing on the stage. Grandma Giggles is helping her unload the cake and place it on the table. Quiet students, please. I am very pleased to present to you today's hostess. Patty bows while the students applaud. Suddenly, the back door flings open. Heads turn. The principal, Mr. Sands, pretends to be surprised. Everyone starts to sing, Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear principal. Happy birthday to you. Walking down the aisle, Mr. Sands smiles broadly. He knows the students like him very much. Walking onto the stage, he gasps when he sees the tall birthday cake. Patty is so excited. Grandma Giggles is so happy, but Tofu, the cat, is the most excited. She jumps out of the grocery cart, leaps across the table, and tries to jump over the cake, but it's too tall. She knocks it over. All the students and teachers hold their breaths. Patty's eyes and mouths are wide open. The cat jumps up into the air in the arms of the principal. Everyone in the auditorium is waiting to see and hear the principal's reaction. Dottie whispers to Carmen, My nerves can't take this excitement. If I faint, please call my mother and tell her I love her, and I'm sorry if my apple pie made her puke all night. Mr. Sands bends over and sticks his finger into the cake. This is the most delicious cake I have ever tasted. Wow, Patty, wow. It's magnificent, tremendously tasty. Yummy, yummy, yummy in my tummy. The students and teachers applaud. Patty is beaming with delight. It took me 7 hours to make it, Mr. Sands, and I spent 3 extra hours researching the history of birthday cakes. For instance, it was in the 15th century, that's like hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years ago, that the first birthday cake was made. From the audience, a student yells, When were birthday candles invented? Patty immediately responds. People began putting candles on birthday cakes to chase away ghosts from haunting the birthday person. Dottie whispers to Carmen, I'm so afraid of ghosts. I'm probably going to faint right now. Patty continues. Birthday cakes started in Germany. Now, I'll stick candles in the cake, and Matt shouts out, How many candles? How old are you, Mr. Sands? Dottie whispers to Carmen, I think he's probably like 100 years old. Grandma Giggles interrupts. We can't light candles in school, Patty. I think we should. Before the teacher can finish, the principal, who is licking his fingers after swiping icing off the cake, announces in a booming voice, I'm going to ask the cafeteria staff to take this delicious cake and put it in the freezer. When we all return to school, tomorrow or the next day, depending on the snowstorm, they will cut the cake into slices and everyone will get to taste it at lunch. Patty is so happy she feels as if she's going to suddenly start dancing. The principal continues. But now, well, the snow is falling and the wind is blowing. And we don't want to get trapped in here, as much as everyone loves school. So, on the count of 3, I want everyone to rise from their seats and calmly walk up to the aisle. Go to your classrooms, put on your coats, gloves, hats, scarves, boots, then proceed to the front door, because the school buses are awaiting to take all of you home. I'm canceling school. The students cheer, though none can follow the principal's instructions about being calm. Patty shouts as loud as she can above the noise. Don't you all want to know how I made my delicious cake? I mixed flour, baking soda, salt, and butter into a batter. I added strawberry jam. I used an electric mixer. I made sure it was on low or medium speed so I didn't spray the batter all over my mother's nice, clean kitchen. Then I put it in the oven and baked it at 350 degrees while I made the icing, and before she could finish, she sees that the last of her students was exiting the auditorium door. The principal says, It's the best birthday cake I've ever tasted, Patty, and your speech was so lovely and educational. And to be surprised by tofu, not the kind I eat, but by my cat. I don't eat cats, though. I only eat tofu. Well, real tofu. I should be a comedian, don't you think? Grandma Giggles does what she does best. She giggles. Patty says to Mr. Sands, the reason I borrowed your cat was because I also learned that today is National Cat Day. Your wife says you love cats. Mr. Sands smiles broadly. You've made me very happy, Patty. It's the best birthday I've had since I became principal. Now, I think it's time you went and put your winter clothes on and jumped into the bus. Don't push the cart back to your dad's store. We can leave it here until your mom comes into the Wonder and Wander grocery store truck. Grandma Giggles, who has been licking icing off her fingers, says, Patty, I do believe you're going to grow up to be a great, big, successful baker. Patty nods her head and smiles. I might just specialize in making the best birthday cakes anyone can ever hope to taste. And maybe make lots of money being a baker. A chef, too. Jubilant children are running around the school, slipping and sliding, making and throwing snowballs, jumping up the steps into the buses. Mrs. Granger is shouting, Be careful, everyone. The school nurse bellows, I'm out of Band-Aids. Dottie and Carmen are holding one another's hands, walking very carefully to the bus. Carmen, Dottie says, I might be baking a blueberry pie tonight. I'll ask my dad if he wants to taste it. Sammy and Matt are walking behind the girls. Matt, says Sammy, I'm going to try to make baby food for my demonstration. I don't think my mom will mind if I keep one of my baby brother's dirty diapers and bring it to school. Do you? Freddie is shouting to his friends. Who wants to come sled riding with me? One of the last students to exit the building is Patty. She is mumbling to herself. Now that I have time to think about it, when I get home, I'm going to turn on my computer and research hot water. I'd really like to know who invented hot water.
So, boys and girls, did you enjoy the story about Patty and the Grandma Giggles and the cat and the big surprise birthday cake for the principal? Well, I hope so. It's all about one of the most important things about friendships. Appreciation. I sure do appreciate all of my friends, and I'm sure you do also. Well, and I hope your friends appreciate you. Hey, I gotta tell you something, boys and girls. 7-year-old Susie and her mom sent me a recipe for baking a delicious gluten-free, sugar-free cake, and I'm gonna go home now and try baking it. And if it's good and delicious, I'm going to come back here to this wonderful radio podcast storytelling studio and share it with my creative storytelling friends.